Land reform refers to the process by which the ownership and use of land are reorganized, usually by redistributing land from a few large-scale landowners to landless or small-scale farmers. In Zimbabwe, land reform was one of the most significant post-independence policies, primarily aimed at redressing colonial land imbalances. Here are 10 reasons for the land reforms in Zimbabwe. 1. To correct historical land injustices. During colonial rule, especially after the Land Apportionment Act of 1930, fertile land was allocated to white settlers, while black Zimbabweans were confined to poor, overcrowded reserves. Example: by 1980, about 4,000 white farmers owned over 70% of the fertile land, while millions of black Zimbabweans were crammed into communal areas like Gokwe or Buhera. 2. To promote social and economic equity. Land reform aimed to ensure fair access to land for the majority of Zimbabweans, reducing inequality and promoting inclusive economic participation. Example: formerly marginalized rural communities like those in Matabeleland North were prioritized for land redistribution. 3. To reduce landlessness and overcrowding. Many black families were landless or lived in congested communal areas with degraded soils due to overuse. Example: communal lands like Chivi and Gutu suffered from soil erosion due to high population pressure and limited land availability. 4. To increase agricultural production and food security. By redistributing idle or underutilized land to productive farmers, the government aimed to boost food production and reduce dependence on food imports. Example: resettlement schemes in Mashonaland Central enabled more families to grow maize, contributing to national food supply. 5. To empower the indigenous population. Land ownership is tied to economic empowerment. Reforms sought to give the black majority a stake in the economy. Example: under the Fast Track Land Reform Program, FTLRP, 2000 onward, many indigenous Zimbabweans became landowners for the first time. 6. To decongest communal lands and preserve the environment. Overgrazing, deforestation, and soil erosion were major problems in communal areas. Land reform was a step toward environmental sustainability. Example: villagers from degraded areas like Sanyati were resettled on more arable land to reduce environmental stress. 7. To create employment opportunities. Commercial farming creates jobs. Redistributing land to small-scale farmers could boost employment in rural areas through agriculture and related sectors. Example: resettlement areas like Mverwe saw growth in agro-based employment following land allocation. 8. To promote rural development. Land reform was also aimed at developing rural areas through infrastructure provision like roads, clinics, and schools in newly resettled areas. Example: government support in areas like Karoi included the construction of rural service centers for resettled communities. 9. To reduce dependency on a few large-scale farmers. Pre-reform, Zimbabwe's economy was too reliant on a few commercial white farmers. Reforms aimed to diversify agricultural contributors. Example: tobacco farming, once dominated by a few, now includes thousands of smallholder farmers in Harungwe and Marondera. 10. To fulfill political and electoral promises. Land reform was also a political commitment made during the liberation struggle and independence negotiations. Example: the Lancaster House Agreement delayed land reform in the early 1980s, but pressure from war veterans and citizens led to fast-track reforms in the 2000s.